I'd like the tenant project team to please stand. Okay. You have Mr. Kevin Sewell, who is the manager of the tenant project management team. And you have Alan Massey, who is just such a dynamic construction man, let me say like that. Alan gets in the trenches and he makes it happen. And plus he deals with a lot of our day-to-day operations. And then you've got Lisa Pope. Lisa is the one that kind of keeps all of them together because she's the one that looks at the criteria as it relates to interior coordination, that we adhere to all of those design initiatives. So she's very, very instrumental in keeping us on track with that. So please take note of Lisa. And then we've got Nelson Hodges. Nelson Hodges is our internal architect and design master, and another fine gentleman that's done a lot of projects here at the airport, and has been very instrumental in a lot of developments that you experience today. So we got the right team in place, and this all today that you've seen up to this point kind of points back to a lot of their efforts, if you will. So thank you guys very much. But please coordinate with them. Thank you. So what do? They actually integrate internally, and they work with the various disciplines inside of the airport, the various business units, if you will, to ensure that you can optimize, you have the paths of least resistance in working with them and working with the different departments, many of which you've seen here today. So that's why it's imperative that you understand and you utilize their effort so that now you have a collaborative effort to optimize. They work with the planning department, they work with ADE, they work with the asset management, they work with codes, they work with EAD. And what's not listed here is the fact that they work with the individual business unit managers in the concessions department. So, for example, if you got Carolyn Phillips that is retail, they're working direct with all of these different disciplines as well as Carolyn to ensure that, that Carolyn is in the loop as well. At the same time, if you're working with food and beverage, you're working with Peter Barwinkle, and they're working direct with Peter Barwinkle, who in fact coordinates with this entire entourage as well. Then you got your passenger amenities and services. You got Dana Cassidy in that capacity, where they are coordinating with Dana to ensure you got a seamless approach to her business unit. So they touch everything. At the same time, they swing back to the department and they work with Mr. Kevin Lemons from the standpoint of our revenue posture with the entire program. They look at how we get to where we need to get to through the relationships that we have with the different disciplines, how we streamline processes and time to market so that you can start making money much sooner. So they are a strong catalyst for everything that happens within this whole design and development process. At the same time, externally, they work with your teams. They work with indirect clients, and those indirect clients being your contractors, your supervisors. They want to do everything that they can to help you meet your objectives. Now, let me tell you how successful they've been. I've got, in the last 60 days, 2 letters just commending them to the board, to above my head, that talks to how successful they've been in handling multiple projects at one time and staying on course and helping to remove the barriers that come about from time to time as you're engineering or re-engineering in the field. They've done a phenomenal job, and they've got documentation that really, really commends them. So, you know, realize that it's not about reinventing the wheel, it's about taking a path of least resistance, because it's already going to be tough for us. But when you got a team that's working like they work, and they are very, very committed, then the reason I'm speaking to this is I want you to understand there's a value there, there's a great asset, and we need to take advantage of it because it's not only going to help them, it's going to help you with your business, it's going to help the airport, it's going to help the whole program. So it's really important. So the process timeline, you got phase one, it's approximately 91 days. You saw it on the other slide. You got 30% design presentation. That's due 46 days from board approval, okay? And this is where your design team will present to the concession staff. Our design team will present to the concession staff also. The color rendering of the store elevations will be required, and all of this is given to you, but we just want to touch on it because we feel it's very important that you note it. 100% code submittal is due 45 days from the 30% design presentation. So then you got phase two, the construction period, which we talked about earlier. This next slide is extremely important. The submittal information, document submittal, 100% code review. You have to have 10 sets of signed and sealed by Texas Registered Architect drawings. So you've got to come with being prepared, to make a long story short. Then we got the DFW construction application, submit with sealed drawings. You got payment and performance bonds. This is very, very important that they're submitted prior to the start of construction. Again, I want to reemphasize that they have to be submitted prior to construction starting. Then you got the capital investment cost estimates that have to be submitted prior to construction start. Then you've got the contractor must provide the required insurance, which must be submitted prior to construction starting. After construction is complete, this is very, very important that you need to submit certified capital investment costs. That's one that from time to time we've had that has been an oversight. And trust me, it's very, very important for you as a tenant to submit that. So we really wanted to kind of emphasize this particular slide, if you will. Let's talk about the milestone here. Various milestones. The RFP was released on September 22nd, and today is our design build-out review. November 22nd is the deadline for all questions and clarifications. And then the 17th, the proposals are due. Originally, it was due the 3rd of December, and this has been pushed back, so it's now due the 17th. Interviews, this is a tentative time, if you will, between March the 7th and March 11th, and then we look to take those awardees to board approval, on April the 7th. Take a good look at this. It's all online, but hopefully you'll be presented on April the 7th, or your work will be presented April the 7th, and we'll be looking at our new terminal, what we look like, and how we incorporate your program. Okay. Question?
Do you foresee the date of the proposal's due date to change at all?
The proposal due date changing? No, I do not. Yes, sir.
Michael, you saying that board approval will be April 7, 2011. And within 46 days after that, I have to give the design submittal. Design and construction, whole thing cost about time 280 days. If my space I'm looking for is not available before 2013, what should I do 2 years? My space will not be available in 2013.
Okay. You're talking about because of the phasing.
According to the schedule this morning. So what I do 2 years?
You will still submit, okay, and you will be approved at the time that others are approved, but you'll start your construction at the appropriate time. Am I correct on that, guys?
Why you cannot say that before the space is given there, 46 days before that you submit? in April, I have to start